Coming up on this post-Friday Abu Dhabi Grand Prix F1 update.
As far as Zak is concerned, both his drivers have an equal opportunity to win the driver's title, but Zak is making it absolutely and abundantly clear right now there is no team orders as it stands unless
Lando Norris, opening day perfection as the championship leader tops both first and second practice ahead of this weekend's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix as Max Verstappen concedes he is facing a constant fight at the Yas Marina Circuit. From Racing News 365, my name is Nick Golding, and I am delighted to be joined, as always, by lead editor Ian Parks. And Ian, before we get on with discussing all things Abu Dhabi, a quick confession, quite clearly not the normal background, also not the background I was hoping to be showing. I am in Sao Paulo, Brazil, for the season opener of Formula E. It is so hot here, it's already feeling like mid-30s. That when I trialled a recording, my phone overheated. It's a brand new iPhone as well, so I'm not very impressed by that. Hopefully for Saturday, it's not good, but it is that hot out here. There's very different weather to what F1 had in Interlagos quite recently, so yes, but hopefully I'll bring a nicer background tomorrow. Other than this,
fingers crossed.
Anyways, Ian, fingers crossed. Let's discuss all things Friday, and obviously an interesting first practice. Lots of rookies on the track, and also it is the least representative practice session of the Grand Prix, one of the least representative of the season, because it takes place in completely different conditions to the race on Sunday. FP2, on the other hand, is the most representative, given that the sun is starting to set, the lights come on, and it was Lando Norris on top of both FP1 and FP2. Looking good so far.
First blow landed, that's all we can say, but it is, as we always caveat, only Friday practice. If you're a Max Verstappen fan, it's good news. Okay, Max was a third of a second behind Lando at the end of FP2. That's quite a gap, admittedly, but we know what Max is like. The car's in a good place, and he comes out of Friday saying it's in a reasonable place. Going into Saturday, we know he's got a good car to work with, and that's pretty much exactly the noise that was coming from Max Verstappen. He's happy with the car overall. As I say, a third of a second behind. Yes, as I say, oh, there's that phrase, isn't it? As I say. Somebody pointed out that the other day. I do say it a lot. Thank you ever so much, Rinko. That was the guy that mentioned it anyway. So, oh, good grief. Now I've got that in my head. Moving swiftly on. So, moving swiftly on, yes, it was a gap, but Max is happy with the car. He complained about the balance issues with it. Yes, it is constant. It's something that he's had throughout the season, but he feels at the moment he's got a good car to work with going into Saturday practice, Saturday qualifying especially, and second position in the timesheet. So it's not looking too bad. It's not the usual Max complaining and seemingly leaving with a lot of work to do overnight for the Red Bull engineers. It is Max in a good place going into Saturday. If you're a Lando Norris fan, you're going to be happy. As I say, he's landed the first blow by a significant time gap. It has to be said, third of a second, but it is only Friday practice. But how is he going to look into the Grand Prix weekend? He says there's still more time to find in his arc. So he feels he's got more work to do as well overnight with his team. Got a good feeling that it's going to be a very intense nip and tuck qualifying battle between the two. And as for Oscar Piastri, the third driver in title contention this weekend, well, he missed FP1 and gave up his car to Pato O'Ward. And in his quotes post FP2, Oscar did make a little bit of a point about this, saying, yeah, it was a shorter day for me. Of course, as you said, Nick, it wasn't representative running FP1, but nevertheless, if he's still getting up to speed with the circuit, getting to grips with the circuit, so he's only had FP2 to rely on. Now, he ended up nearly 7/10 of a second behind his teammate, 11th on the timesheet. First run on soft tyres, that was his best time because he made a mistake on the second run into turn 6. That's the sharp left-hander at the end of the back straight here at the Yas Marina Circuit, and that left in a drift with his teammates. So he's got much more work to do. He did, however, feel, and in his comments post-practice, that he was okay with the car, felt comfortable with the car. So only natural to expect that there's going to be a lot more to come from Oscar Piastri going into qualifying on Saturday.
Of course, off the circuit, we had the team principals press conference today, and one of the drivers on Thursday consisted of the 3 championship contenders. The team principals consisted of Laurent Mekies of Red Bull, Zak Brown of McLaren, and Jonathan Wheatley of Stake, obviously a bit of an outlier, but obviously former Red Bull, so I guess the thing still works. But very interesting from Zak Ian discussing, obviously, whether team orders could be used. It's been the big question mark going into this weekend. Lando and Oscar in the press conference on Thursday said, there's been no discussions yet, we'll see what happens. Zak has threatened that team orders could be used if the situation requires them.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a clear case of if there is a particular situation that unfolds during the Grand Prix and they sense that that situation might be starting to favour Max Verstappen, then yes, they will make a call. As it stands right now, going into qualifying, and we'll see what happens on Saturday, of course, and then going into the Grand Prix, as far as Zak is concerned, both his drivers have an equal opportunity to win the driver's title on Sunday. Yes, there might be this 16-point gap between Lando and Oscar, but Zak is making it absolutely and abundantly clear right now there is no team orders as it stands unless, as I said, the situation kind of dictates and it's starting to edge towards Max during the Grand Prix. I'm just going to make a point about that team principals press conference, Nick, and it's going to be slightly controversial perhaps, but this is where I miss Christian Horner. Now, don't get me wrong, Laurent Mekies as team principal is a lovely guy. But at the end of the day, he's principally an engineer. And whilst he eulogized quite lovely about Max Verstappen and how Max has performed over the course of this season, how we're seeing an extraordinarily different Max this campaign to what we've seen in the previous 4 when he's gone on to win the world title, it was all nicey-nicey. It's one of those, Nick, where you really could have done with just at this stage of the season, a little bit of needle between these two team principals. That's what Christian would have given us. And that's the only reason why I'm saying, folks, that I missed Christian Horner in this particular situation for no other reason other than that.
Well, of course, we got then so many amazing press conference moments between, for example, Christian Horner and Toto Wolff, obviously going back to 2021 and the fight between them two. That's kind of what's been missing a little bit. To go through the top 10 very quickly from second practice, it was Lando Norris on top, head of Verstappen, George Russell in third, Oliver Bearman in a brilliant fourth, Nico Hülkenberg in a brilliant fifth, Gabriel Bortoleto in a brilliant sixth. There's a theme going on here. Isaac Hadjar in 7th, Charles Leclerc 8th, Fernando Alonso 9th, and Kimi Antonelli in P10. Just finally, and I want to discuss Oliver Bearman in P10 because he came out with probably the radio message, P4 should I say, the radio message of the day, effectively saying, I don't know how guys, but this car is insane. He didn't know where the pace came from.
It's brilliant, wasn't it? I mean, let's hope for his sake that pace continues over the course of the weekend and it's not just a one-off Friday before a performance and all of a sudden come on Saturday during qualifying a load of other cars overtaking. But if that's the way he's feeling right now, that's the best the car has felt all season, that's certainly boding well for Haas going into the weekend and its Constructors' Championship points and position, of course, in its battle with the other teams around it. Good for Ollie. It's a great way to end the season. And to say, fingers crossed for him, if that's the way he's feeling right now, it continues across the course of the weekend. But yes, quite a surprise with those drivers in the positions that they were. With the State boys, Nico Hülkenberg, his 250th Grand Prix this weekend. Yeah. Very special helmet to celebrate that milestone in his Formula One career. And then Gabriel Bortoleto 6th. The State boys 5th and 6th. And then, yes, we've got Oscar Piastri down in 11th. As I said earlier, Nick, we've got a lot of work to do going into Saturday. It is to have any impact on Lando and Max and with regard to this title fight for his own hopes.
All eyes are, of course, going to be on the final fight for pole position of 2025. Please do be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments below who do you think will claim pole position at the Yas Marina Circuit. For myself and Ian, we will see you after qualifying on Saturday. See you later.
Thanks for watching. Take care as always, folks. See you on Saturday.